Good morning, everyone. Good morning, and welcome back to a live session. You may hear some noises from the temple. I think it is too loud, but I hope you all can hear me properly. Okay, so now we are back with yet another important session which I have planned a few weeks ago, but today is the day when I'm going to take it live for each one of you. Biopoint special exam strategy tip number one: don't make these silly mistake in boards, and the six important tips for avoiding this mistake. I think Saumya is there on the live chat. Nakasumak chats I can see. I don't know whether there is anyone else watching the session. Okay, anyway, good morning, guys. So let's get started. I'm not taking too much of time. Let me explain each and everything in a consolidated way and in a fast way, including all the strategy or all the tips coming under this topic. So don't forget to hit the like button, do share it with your friends, and subscribe this platform for biology needs. Biopoint, stream the world of bio. So the link of the Telegram group is posted. The link of the Telegram group is posted in the description box. So those who are brand new to the channel or those who are watching our lectures for the first time, don't forget to join our Telegram group. The link is posted in the description box. So let's get started with this amazing session on the six important tips for avoiding and to avoid in the examination of your boards, and the most importantly, the common mistake while students make in their board paper. So before starting the session, let me tell you one important thing. I hope all of you might have experienced the thing which I'm going to tell right now. You guys are totally 100% prepared for your exam, but you will lose the exam in getting disappointing marks, right? you I hope almost everybody have experienced that at least one, or sometimes even when you are so well prepared for the exam, we end up getting disappointing scores. So today, in today's session, today's video, I'll tell you about the six biggest and the costliest mistake that makes the students tend to make these mistakes in the exam. So by the end of the session, you will save your plenty of marks. So let's get started with the first mistake number one. The mistake number one, which we commonly see in all paper or all minds of the students, is the biggest mistake is where to begin. So tip number one, where to begin, or exam mistake number one, where to begin. So the biggest question that arises in each one of your mind is where to begin in an exam. Should I begin with the biggest and the difficult problem in the exam, or should I start with the easiest one, or should I go in the serial order? So, let me tell you some important things. First of all, when you get a question paper, you have to browse through all the questions. I hope you can understand. You have to browse through all the single question, and for that you are provided with the cool off time. Most of you doesn't even utilize this precious time allotted to each one of you. So it is a very important 15 minutes which has been guaranteed to you. Okay. Saumi, depends upon each people's caliber, right? Certain people will take only just uh, 30 seconds or 20 seconds to answer a 1 mark question, but certain students, just imagine the condition of the other students who are not at all well prepared with a 1 mark. They'll take up a very huge time to simply just write the 1 mark question. So for those people, it's better for those people who doesn't have any idea about the assertion, reason, MCQs, all those things. For those people, it would be better for them to answer the question which contains the highest mark first. And both typing has both this. Okay, both have disadvantages and advantages also, because those who are starting with a difficult problem also may get face some kind of disadvantages, because they'll spend a huge time on the 5 marks question. So they'll make the 5 marks question answering perfect, so they lose time in the 1 mark question. So first of all, that's why I ask you frequently to practice as much as question papers, 80 marks question papers as possible. So after attempting a 4 or 5 question paper, you would yourself end up in preparing a timesheet for each. I should complete 30 minutes. I should complete the 5 marks question. Next 30 minutes, I should complete the 3 marks question. You'll yourself end up in such a way. Yeah, Soumya, that will also be a good idea, which I will be telling. Okay. So, whenever you are getting, that is, guys, all of you have a 15 minutes cool off time. 15 minutes cool off time, right? So, the frequent thing which I observe in the examination centers during this 15 minutes of cool off time is that all students would look around. All students would look around. Okay, all students would look around and they'll waste their precious time, guys. But this 15 minutes are very important for the next 3 hours which you are going to attempt your paper. In this 15 minutes, what are the things that you have to do is, number one, you have to, first of all, when you get a question paper, you have to browse through all the questions. Your question papers would be sealed, and when the examiner or the invigilator asks you to unseal it, only you are supposed to take off the seal and open the PDF, or sorry, open the question paper booklet. Okay, so that you have to do first of all. Second thing, you have to first of all browse through all the question, and the most important thing, don't go deep into any question, because if you don't know the answer, you just read all the questions. That's only you have to do. You don't have to sit at that 15 minutes and start finding the answers. If you start finding out the answers, you will end up in depression or tension, that if you miss any one of the answers, if you don't know any question, you would think about that till the end of the exam. You lose up a lot of marks. So just browse or go through all the questions, and if there is an or question, read both the question and just make sure which question I know very well and which is the or question that I'm going to attempt. That you have to do in the, that is the second thing which you have to do in the 15 minutes of cool off time. You have to select out the optional questions. Then you have to start solving the quick and easy ones firstly. Guys, quick and easy ones doesn't mean that you have to start with a 1 mark question. For certain students, the 5 mark questions, the 15 marks, the last 3 5 marks question may appear so easy. So for those students, they can start with what? They can start with the 5 marks question. Okay, for whatever question you have writing, you have to have a control over the time. I hope it's clear, guys. Give me hearts on the chat box. Give me hearts on the chat box, guys, if it's clear. Yes, guys. Is it clear? Okay, so whatever, after reading the question, whichever questions is appealing to easy for you, you have to start with that question. And please don't intermix or interchange the section. If you're starting with section A, complete all the questions of section A. If you're starting with section B, complete all the questions of section B. If you are doing section C, complete all the questions section C, and if it is D, complete all the questions of section D. Don't do section A, question number 1, question number 5, section B, question number 21, question number 26. Please don't intermix like this. You won't get at least 1 mark. They will cut up all your marks. So be careful about that. Browse through the easy questions and solve the quick and the easy ones firstly. Then, if all the easy questions are finished, then you can move on to a few challenging question. You can move on to a few challenging question. And for those challenging question also, don't spend too much of time. Okay, make sure all the 5 marks question have options. So make sure the optional question which you know the answer most perfectly as compared to the other. Please don't select a question like all students would be attempting this question. So I would also add, you have to choose. Guys, whatever be it is an easy question or difficult, certain students have the habit of writing the most difficult or question so that the examiner would make sure or examiner would feel that he is a brilliant one or she is a brilliant student. So guys, if a small mistake comes over there also, they'll reduce the marks. So just go with the easy question. Why you are taking risk by attempting? Guys, for example, if you're attending the challenging and the most difficult or question in that question paper also, the same marks is being allotted to a student who is writing the most easy question of that or optional one also, right? See, it's you who have to choose wisely the most easiest question. I should not say or use the word easiest, because the most appropriate word is you have to wisely choose the optional question which makes you familiar or which makes you confident to write the answers completely. Then, after solving a few challenging questions, again you can switch on to some easy question. Again, you can switch on to some easy question, and finally you can come back to the difficult one and start solving. Guys, in your question paper, your questions would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, suppose you're writing it and you are coming in doubt with the third question. So guys, please make sure that you encircle the doubt question or the questions which needs rechecking. Okay, the questions which needs rechecking or you are going to attend at the last, and you have to leave the necessary space over there. Okay, and do one more important thing. When you are attending question number 1 and you have completed the answer and that you have checked it also, please just put a tick mark over the question which you have attended completely so that you would never miss at least one important question. I have seen certain students, I have seen so many students coming out of the examination hall without seeing certain questions, which is very, very easy. So I should not want my students to face the problems for facing the same problem. That's why I'm telling you, as soon as you complete the question number 1, please put a tick mark in the question with a pencil or a pen. As soon as you complete question number 2, mark it. If you don't know the 3, put a different box or a circle for that. You won't miss at least one question. And at last, after finishing whole question, you mark or count out the total number of questions in your paper and your book. Okay, so I have seen couple of times, I've seen so many students after crying, they'll cry and come out of the examination hall that they haven't seen such questions which may be very very simple even. So that is exam tip number one or mistake number one, where to begin. Let's move on to exam tip number two or exam mistake number two, the tricky question or the naughty question. How you have to attempt each and every question. How to attempt a question. This is a strategy which you have to follow. Read, pause, read again, and write. Important. Take a question. Read the question once. Okay. Again, read the question by pausing it. What is the function of? Firstly, you have to just go through the eyes. What is the function of villi of small intestine? Second, if you have doubt in the question, read the question again. What is the function of villi? So the question word over there is what is the function? Again, read it again and then identify the question pertaining to that particular point and then start writing the answer. What is the function of villi? Start from the question itself. Okay, please make sure in case of science and all to make an answer perfect, please start it from the question itself. The function of villi are increase the surface area. Okay, like that you have to write the functions of villi of small intestine or the function of saliva in the mouth, the function of so and so. Start from the question. Then, while reading the question, you have to underline and understand the key words in the question. Okay, key words in the question. For example, what, when, how, where. So you have to understand this keyword. Where is pancreas located and what is the function of pancreas? Both are different meaning, right? Or when is pancreas secreting its enzyme or hormone? All these, or how is the functioning happening? Different question words have different meaning. So you have to underline the key word. You have to underline the key word while you are reading the question. I will show you an example. Okay, then the third tip is copy the given details in the question very carefully to the answer sheet from the questions. For example, especially mathematics and science numericals. Guys, if for example you are asked to find an area of a square or a for example, if you are asked to find the rectangle, the length and breadth of the question or length and breadth of the rectangle is given in the question. You have to, first of all, if it is question number 20, then you have to write it like this. You have to start your paper like this. Given length is equal to 10 meter or 10 centimeter, then breadth is equal to 40 centimeter. Then after writing these two, you have to write area is equal to length into breadth. Okay, guys, all of you know, even the invigilator know, you also knows the formula of area is length into breadth. Guys, maybe they may be allotting a half mark for writing the formula. If you get the final answer also and if you miss to write the formula, they won't give you the marks, half mark. So make sure you write even the simplest things. Certain years, CBSE guarantees mark for copying the important data given in the question. For that also they may give half mark or 1 mark. So make sure you write all the necessary things from the question, very important and very carefully. Okay, very carefully you have to write. If the question given is 10 centimeter, when you write it, you will write it as 10 meter. What happens? You will start going with 10 meter. So that will also end up in losing marks. So make sure you copy down the things very clearly. Okay, so that is the one. So guys, this is what I wanted to tell you. Please listen very carefully. This is not based on your 10th standard topics and all. I hope I just made a just example to make it clear for you guys. Suggest any 3 steps to minimize the environmental degradation caused by the industrial development in India. So guys, when you are reading the question for the second time, you have to underline this point. Any 3 steps. Okay, certain students have the habit, if 6 points are given, they'll start writing all the 6 points, or if 10 are given, they'll start writing all the 10 points continuously. Guys, if they have specified the number, appropriate number, or you can write 1 or 2 extra if it is there. No need of writing the whole paragraph given in the NCRT or given in your notebook or wherever. Then state the conditions required. State the conditions required. Describe, explain. All these things are different. So make sure you identify the key word in the question. You identify the key word in the question before you start writing. Guys, at the instant when you read a question, don't start writing the answer, because at last you end up in deviating the answer or the question from one point to the other. So make sure you are attending the answer or writing the answer for the question which is asked. Then this is another point which I have to tell you is, you have to make sure you underline the important data given in the question paper. Okay, so in your answer sheet you have to start writing like this. For maths, for physics, chemistry, also for numerical questions come given angle CAB is equal to 30 degree. Then AB is the diameter. Then you have to write the formula angle PCA. How to find? You have to write it like this. Okay. Nakasumak sir, what to write when they ask? I'm not clear with the question. Can you make the last word more clear? Okay, so you have to make sure you copy down. You have to, everybody have to be careful in copying down the given datas. 30 degree given in the question, when you write in the paper, it would change into 45 degree. Your mind would be completely filled up with the question which you have done in your revision time. Significance, describe, all those things are different. Significant means what are the importance of that particular. For example, they may ask you like what all are the significance of reproduction. What are the significance of reproduction? Then you have to write for the continuity of species, for producing more young ones, all those things. While they are ask you a question like describe reproduction, what you will have to write, you have to write what is reproduction, what are the advantages of reproduction, or what are the different types of reproduction, what is asexual reproduction, what is sexual reproduction. So you have to elaborate the particular topic and attend it. Okay, mistake number 3, word limit, where every one of you makes mistake. Word limit, which is very important. Plan the answer before writing. Plan the answer before writing. Okay, please plan the answer before you write or attempt. Especially in case of language subjects like English, Hindi, Malayalam, all those your regional language subjects, for writing essay, notice all those things. Guys, please take 2 minutes of your precious time. Please take 2 minutes of your precious time and jot down the important points. Just by the side of your exam sheet or beside the question paper, just jot down the important points, or what all the important points what you are going to write in that article or in that notice. Okay, so if you after reading the question, if you directly after reading the question, if you directly start writing the answer, what happens is like in the between you will get stuck or you would miss out a point. So it would be better if you would plan the answer much before you write. So you can do this one more time. You can do this at a very important time in the 15-minute school off time. After you read and select, if 5 minutes is left out, you can jot down the important points. Especially in case of subjects like English, what you have to do in this 15 minutes, instead of spending your time simply over there, you can start reading the comprehension passage. Okay, for English examination, for Malayalam, for Hindi examination, you can start reading the comprehension passage type question in that 15 minutes, so you can save a lot of time in writing the answers. You don't need to spend your precious time of 3 hours in reading the passage. I know very well that you spend a lot of time in reading the passage. So plan the answer before writing it in the paper. Try to write the answers as bullet points. Try to write the answers as bullet points and not in paragraph in case of science. Okay guys, in case of science, please write it in the bullet points instead of writing it as a paragraph. Okay? Don't go up with a bullet point writing in case of English essays and article. In English, you have to write it as paragraphs. Okay, for English, you have to write it as paragraphs only. For in case of science questions, you have to write it as bullet points. Like point number 1, point number 2. You can use any symbols like this. Okay, star marks or anything you can use. Okay, in case of English, word limit is very important. In case of science subjects and all, they won't go with the word limit. They'll read whatever you have written in the answers. But in case of English, after a specified word limit, they'll strike it off. Okay, especially in case of writing section, don't go too much excess. And guys, please don't do one silly mistake or a blunder mistake in your exam by just sitting there and counting the words. Please don't do it. Okay, certain students have the habit. Okay, Shashank, in Hindi also for question and answer, literature part and all, if it's possible, you can write by points. It's okay. But it would be better for you to easily gain marks, guys, in case of language subject if you write in paragraph. Because certain teachers have the habit of just simply looking at the length of the answer and they'll give the marks in case of science subjects. I hope science case study questions you won't take too much of time if you know the concept behind it. Right? I haven't seen any max case study question. I send it PDF only. I haven't just browsed through it. Guys, don't worry, your questions would be easy. You would do and crack it with a very high score. I'm quite sure about it. Okay, so guys, you should not sit in the examination hall and count out the words 1, 2, 3. Certain students have the habit and have seen. So guys, please don't do that. After you practice couple of written exams, you would yourself end up in knowing if I write 1.5 page, that's enough for as per my handwriting. 1.5 page is enough for writing this 5 marks question or 5 marks essay. Okay, so practice questions which makes you increase your time management, your way of answering a question, you're mastering the answer, understanding knowledge, everything. So exam mistake number 4, writing units in the exam. For example, for example, in a question, if your final answer is 10 centimeter, final answer is equal to 10 centimeter. Guys, if you don't write the unit centimeter, the examiner won't give you the final marks, 1 mark for the final answer. He or she will definitely cut it. You would think that what is the use of a unit? Okay, and guys, please do one thing. If you don't know the unit, please leave it as such. Okay, please don't write unnecessary or simply don't write any units over there to mislead the teacher, just make the teacher know. The teachers also have qualifications and degrees. Okay, please remember that while you're attempting the paper. Certain students have the habit of simply writing. If they don't know the unit, for example, if they don't know the unit of certain for power, all those things, what they'll do, they'll simply write some units which they know. The examiner is not have the examiner is well perfect, right? So he or she would easily identify it and cut your marks for the entire question sometime. If you don't know the unit, just simply write 10 like this. But if you know the unit, if you can write the unit, it would be better if you write the unit. So don't forget to write the correct units such as meter, centimeter, kilogram. Draw neat lines or boxes around the final answer, guys. If your final answer is 5 kilogram, please make a final perfection like this. Okay. Yes, Soumya, that's the thing. We think that the teacher, since I have written some units, he or she will give the marks, but they won't give you at least few marks. Okay, don't do it for the board exam, guys. Okay, be careful while attending the boards, because your paper, single paper, is gonna be valued by different peoples. So draw a neat line so no teacher can use any kind of tricky way. Clear? So in case of maths and science, please, if you write any formula or something, please try to highlight it. So at the instant when the invigilator takes the paper for valuation or the teacher takes the paper for valuation, suddenly that highlighted box will strike in the mind, and if it's the answer, directly marks would be given. When a question comes like difference between or distinguish, comparison, always try to answer the question in a box type format and not in paragraph. Okay. Always, I have been telling this for the couple of times. Please try to write it in a box type format. Okay, if it is asked like distinguish between, difference between, guys, this is what I told you. When you're taking it and writing down, or when you're reading the question itself, you have to highlight 5 centimeter, 25 centimeter, 10 centimeter. Then when you're writing the answer, please highlight the important formula which you are used. Okay, important formula which you are used, especially in case of derivation. Especially in case of derivation, please try to highlight the important points or important things. In case of science subjects and all, after the paper is over, after you complete the whole answer, after you're checking, if you have time left out, you start underlining the important points. Please don't do like write the first question, underline it. You would lose time. Please don't underline it at the instant when you write the answer. Underline. Start underlining the paper after you complete the entire paper. And you find time for that. Exam mistake number 5, giving up early. Make sure your CBSE board exam would never give you any negative marks or something. Like NEET exam or JEE exam, if you write the wrong answer, they are not going to reduce your marks. So make sure that you attend all the question. This is also a very important point when I am telling you constantly right from the day when I started teaching you. You have to attempt all the questions in a question paper. Whether you know or don't know, even you don't have any single idea about also you know, you'll easily be able to identify the chapter of that question, guys. So at that time, write any topic. If you don't have any idea on that answer, write any topics related or any particular paragraph related with that chapter. If you have received a question from life process but you don't have any idea about, you understood the chapter but you don't have any idea about the answer, just write some other points which are related with that topic. No need to, if you don't know the answer also, just write something. Simply don't put the answer or put a question number and leave it. You have to attend all the question paper without even leaving a sub part of any question. Guys, if the 30th question, if it is a 5 marks question, you have A, B, C, you know only A and B and you left C, please don't do that. If you don't know C also, write something. You studied science or you studied, yes, you will get half mark. If it, just imagine the condition, if that 30th question, last year CBSE board class 12th had this kind of things. A 5 marks question was out of NCRT and out of syllabus, or that question which consumes, it was not out of syllabus, actually it was a numerical type question which would take a huge time from the student side. So students gone and filed the petition, finally 5 marks for that question was given. So those students who left the question without answering it, they won't get that 5 marks. Those students who attend it, at least they would get a 5 marks. Simply, right? So it depends upon God's grace. And guys, one more important point which determines your rank, all those things, is the set of your question paper. Okay, that also I have experienced from certain students last year, 12th standard students. So many of you have tell there were four set A, B, C, and D, not A, B, A, B, and C. A, B, and C. Okay, A, B, and C. So, guys, certain question, the physics paper last year was very, very tough. So, certain students from set A received nearly 30 plus marks for out of or time consuming questions, simply 30 plus marks for the physics board exam. But section B students haven't got any marks. Section C students have got 19 or 20 marks simply for time consuming question. Just imagine the condition of those students who have taken up with the question of set A. They have received 30 marks simply. So question or the set can also influence our marking. So you should not leave any subpart. You have to attend all the question. If you don't know the answer for a question, make sure you attempt the same in just 2 to 3 lines. Do not skip any question. If you skip any questions to write at last, make sure you encircle the question number on that question paper to avoid missing of the question. For example, I'll tell you very frankly, guys, please don't get tense with the same. I'll start with the English. In case of English, set A, set B, sets, in my opinion, I think, or in my knowledge, I think three set of papers are there. There is no four. I think it's three. I don't remember it correctly. I think it's three. Yes. For a case of English, section A, that is set A, set B, set C, the comprehension passage, different passages. For students undertaking set A would have one passage, undertaking B would have another passage question, for undertaking C would have another passage. Especially for notice writing, for letter writing, all those things, different topics for each students of each set. In some set, the question would be easy. In some set, the question would be of the high level question. So it depends upon our luck, God's grace, everything. So pray to the Almighty that your question paper, pray to the question. Please don't pray like my friends should get like that. I should. Please pray to the God. God, the question paper which I receive, please, it contains the simplest questions. Just like that. Okay. All of you just pray like that. That's the thing which you can only do. It depends upon your luck, which question paper set which you get. Okay. In case of science and all, nearly 10 or 12 question would be different, but rest of the question would be in a shuffled order to make you avoid from copying the answer. A person would be sitting near you, would have a different paper, so questions are different, so you won't have time to just relocate or locate the question and find out the answer. Sixth, social distancing. What if right now, if I'm taking with the social distancing, what is actually the thing that you comes to your mind? Please tell me on the chat box, guys. Please tell me very frankly, what is actually the thing that comes to your mind right now with the term social distancing? Yes, COVID-19. But this is not of COVID-19. You can follow the social norms or the COVID-19 rules issued by the government. But this social distancing, which I am going to tell you, is not about COVID-19, but social distancing from your friends. Social distancing from your friends and from the paper. Number one, everybody have the habit of comparing your preparation with your friends. Comparing your preparation with your friends. Is it, guys? Just tell me frankly, on the day morning of your examination, you would go to school, you would ask certain doubts to your friends, you would ask whether this is required, whether that is required, whether you have studied this, where I have not drawn and studied the diagram, whether you have drawn. You will compare your preparation level with your friends. You should avoid that on the day of your board exam. All exam dates you have to avoid such compare. You can talk with them, you can share your opinions, everything, but don't compare your preparation level with your friends. Number one. Second, discussing till the last minute of the exam. Guys, you would be taken to a different school for answering or different school for attending the paper. So at that particular point of time, please don't discuss till the last minute. Okay, please don't discuss till the last minute. You have to complete your preparation at the home itself. You can wake up a bit earlier on the day of exam, you can complete it, then go to the school. After that, please don't open your books, or just, guys, if you revise all those things at the last, what happens? Your mind would get filled with those things only which you have studied earlier, would get simultaneously getting off from your brain. That's actually, researchers have proved that. Okay, then comparing your preparation with your friends. Sometimes the other person might have studied even the minute things in the one page. You might have gone roughly through the page. If he or she just asks you some difficult question, you won't be able to answer. And what is the instant thing which comes to your mind? You would, oh, my examination is gone. I'm not going to have full marks for this exam. I'm not going to have a good score. I have not studied that one page. Guys, if how are you sure that one question is going to come from that page which you have not studied? All depends upon the person who have framed the question, whether it's his or her, like whether he or she should include the question from that page. Whatever be, your friends have studied it. Yes, it's okay, perfect, fine. It doesn't mean that I also should study that like what he have done. No, there is no need. Guys, it may induce tension, pressure for you, and you won't be able to do well in your paper. And after this is a common thing which I usually notice. Comparing your answers after the exam. Compare. What is the answer? What is the answer for question number one? I have written it A. What is your answer? I have written B. Yeah. Gone to the home, started crying. That person, the first rank holder of my class, have written the option as A. I have written it as B, so my answer is wrong. Okay, perfect. My board examination has been entered like this. Guys, what is the need for all those things? Finally, your marks came, you would have a very good score. That is one, social distancing. Next one you have to maintain in your paper. Next, in your paper, strict spaces must be left in between each answers. Use a straight line to separate each answers. Guys, please don't use scales and pencils to what? Separate the lines at the instant when you complete each answer. After you complete all the paper, and if you are left with time, only do this presentation strategies. Don't make the answers crowded. Guys, I have already told you, like, I have already sent you a particular CBSE paper in your group. Your papers is like this, horizontal paper. Instead of papers like normal papers of your books, it's like this. Okay, so question number one, question number two, question number three, question number four. What you will do? If it is A, B, C, D. So certain students, I have seen a couple of students attending the same. What they'll do? They'll take a pencil and a scale. They'll draw a margin. They'll draw a margin, start writing question number five, question number. Guys, nobody is going to give you extra marks if you save a lot of paper. They are giving you a 32-page booklet. 32-page booklet in case of science and all other subjects, and I think 48 or 49 page, that's for class 12 in my knowledge, I hope. 48 or 49 page booklet for max paper. It's actually a booklet, guys. Whatever page you save, you won't get extra marks. So please don't do like this. Okay, don't need to separate your paper into 2 or 4 and start writing. You have to make spacing in between and write the paper very neatly and perfectly. So don't forget to hit the like button, to share it with your friends, and subscribe this amazing platform. Bye bye, guys. See you in the next class or with the next exam strategy tips. Bye bye.